Hey everyone, my name is Kayla. I have a Bachelor of Health Science Naturopathy and I'm a naturopath at Kayla the Nurturing Naturopath. Welcome to my podcast Awareness, where I talk about different awareness days, weeks, and months. And this month, October, is College Man, and I have Kat joining me today. Hi, Kat, how are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
You're very well.
Could you please tell me what Polished Man is?
Yeah, sure. So Polish Man is a fundraising and awareness campaign that works to end violence against women and children.
Yeah, that's really important. And can you please tell us why it's called the Polished Man?
Yeah, 100%. So the Polish Man campaign came about when YGAP founder Elliot went over to Cambodia on a fundraising trip, a beneficiary trip with Hagar International. And he met a young girl named Thea who came to be in the care of Hagar International because she was being sexually abused by her orphanage director. He was playing with Thea, playing noughts and crosses, and she painted big a big blue love heart on his palm, and then she proceeded to paint all of his fingernails blue. So later, when he learned just the extent of child violence and violence against women and children around the world, he started the Polish Man movement. And for him, it was all about polishing a nail to remember Thea.
Super important, definitely. Um, I was actually going to ask how it began, but you just answered that, so thank you for that. And do you have to be a man to take part in Polish Man, or can anyone do it?
Anyone can do it. You do not have to be a man at all. We have probably around 40% of people who participate now are women. And yeah, it's not an issue if you have to be a man. We know that 95% of all victims of violence experience it at the hands of a male perpetrator, and approximately 4 in 5 family and domestic violence offenders are male. So while most men don't use violence against women and children, and they believe it to be unacceptable, many men stand by and do little to prevent it and allow it to continue. So that's why Polish Men encourages men to step up, speak out, and take a stand. As leaders, carers, protectors, men have a positive and vital role to play in helping to end violence against women and children. So we want men to say enough is enough and take action to create a safer world for all women and children. It's called Polished Man, but we want to empower everyone to become part of the solution. We need as many hands as possible to tackle the global issue to make sure that no woman or child has to live with violence. And we know that it's not all men. It's actually only a smaller than 1% of the male population, which is really staggering when you think about those statistics. So 1 in 2 children experience violence, and 1 in 3 women. So
Yeah,
those are really, really huge figures. Um,
yeah,
and that's just what is reported. The statistics are something crazy, like only 1 in 10 people who have experienced violence will actually report. So if you think about that, the number of people who are actually not reporting it is quite high. So yeah, it's less than 1% of men who are violent. The vast majority of men know how to behave, but it's purely that there is so much happening behind closed doors that we as a society turn our backs on, and we go, oh, okay, that's none of my business. But it really, really is. So we need to make sure that all men in our society are standing up and having those tough conversations with mates to say, like, I heard how you spoke to your girlfriend on the phone, and that's not okay. And yeah, really making sure that they're advocating for the behavior that is correct. No more of this, boys will be boys, or that locker room talk and all of that. It's about making sure that men know how to act appropriately around women and children, and that we end the cycle of violence altogether.
Yeah, it's really important that, people are calling, each other out on things that, not respectful and things like that. Definitely. Um,
Absolutely.
and so people paint their nails, like you said, to remember that girl, I guess, that it was,
Yeah.
happening overseas, but it's also happening, closer to home as well.
Yeah, exactly. So people paint one nail, and it doesn't have to be one nail. You can paint your entire hand. We've got lots of male ambassadors who paint every fingernail. They auction off one fingernail per week. You donate $100 and you get to choose what color they paint that nail for the week. So it's about, painting that nail and sparking that conversation when people see it and go, what's with the blue nail, or what's with all your nails painted? So you can have that conversation around why you've got that nail painted.
Yeah. And where do the funds raised go?
Yeah, so all funds raised go towards trauma prevention and trauma recovery programs. So evidence from around the world shows us that violence against women and children can be prevented. So money raised goes to be used in two ways. It helps fund YGAP's prevention programs, where they focus on reducing domestic and family violence by delivering critical programs designed to reduce inequality by working alongside underestimated women entrepreneurs and their change makers, driven by the vision and purpose of bringing positive change in their communities. And then with the support of our partner Rise Up Australia, we work with them to tackle trauma and domestic violence by helping to bringing a calm to the chaos, challenging attitudes and behaviours, and creating genuine change in society. Rise Up offers affected families practical help with safe housing, financing, counselling, medical bills, and home contents.
Yeah, I think that's really important because when, women and children are in, these situations, they don't know, what to do or where to turn. So to have those two places to turn to are really important.
Absolutely. And that's why we partnered with them this year, because we want to look at both sides, not just a prevention piece, but we know that violence does exist, obviously. So we want to be there and help after the fact.
Absolutely. And is there anything else you wanted to recap or talk about that you feel like we haven't sort of spoken about?
No, I think that's kind of it. We do have some really fantastic ambassadors involved in our campaign. We've had people in the past like Zac Efron, Chris Hemsworth. We've got former maths contestant Anthony Sinclair on. We have Dylan Lewis, who, he's a throwback to my heyday in the 80s and 90s, a media personality. We've got some wonderful advocates and survivors with Braden Crane, Jared Grice, Harrison James. We've got a wonderful little 13-year-old entrepreneur, Lucas Lane, who was recently on Shark Tank. He invented a nail polish range for men called Glossy Boys. And I met him last year and he's jumped on board. And we've got Australian actor, Daniel Reader, and most recently we've got Ellie Gavalis. She's a women's North Melbourne AFL player. So we've got some really fantastic support on board this year from the community.
That's really great and really important, like you said. So for further information, should people go to the Polished Man website and Facebook group and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to polishedman.com, or you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. The only social that we're not on anymore is Twitter. So you can find us on all the important social media. Jump on and have a look. And if there's any questions that people have that can't be answered on the website, they can contact us directly through social media.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and making us more aware about Polished Man. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, Kayla.
No worries. Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all have a lovely day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.